Hello guys, it's going to be a little bit of a different video today because I'm struggling with my watercolors. If you remember my previous video talking about my urban sketching watercolor kit and whatever I have with me, you know that I have this Roman Szmal mini palette I purchased, which is named the Mini Urban Sketcher Kit. But I purchased a few extra Roman Szmal colors since then, so today I'm going to swatch out all of my watercolors and see what I want to have in my palette. And also I would love to hear your recommendations of what colors I am missing. And yeah, we are going to talk all about that in today's video. And a quick disclaimer, and whenever I was watching other YouTubers, I was also annoyed at this, but I have to say it. We are staying in Edmonton, Alberta right now. If you follow my channel, you know that we are traveling across Canada for the next 6 months. But we accidentally booked an Airbnb without an AC and it's like 30 degrees. So if I sound like I am out of breath, it's because I am. It's really hot in this room, but at least our watercolors will dry pretty fast. But I have to have my window open or I'm going to pass out. So if you hear a few cars going by, that's it. And I'm sorry about it. For this swatching, I'm going to use my Princeton Neptune number 8 round brush, which is my favorite and it's amazing. And honestly, one of the biggest things I learned in the last few months since I started to take my watercolor seriously is that you should spend on your brushes. I had so many cheap brushes previously that even the shops I went to recommended, like, hey, if you're just starting out, buy this cheap one. But actually, they make watercolors so much harder. So just buy one or two nicer quality brushes and you will thank me later. So I already made my chart, and as you can see, I already have it stained somehow. I don't know how, and it's also not the prettiest chart, but I love this paper and I don't want to waste it, so we are going to use this. I got this paper from Home Sense, and this is the Favini Art watercolor pad with 20% recycled cotton. I think the rest of the paper is not cotton, just that 25%, but guys, this paper is truly amazing. This is a cold press paper, and you can see some work I have done on it, some swatches of my gouache colors, so you can see that this paper is pretty high quality. And I paid like $5 for it, 5 Canadian, so I'm going to use this to swatch today's colors. Our first color is Roman Szmal Nickel Azo Gold. This came in the original mini urban sketching kit, and I totally understand why somebody would choose this color to include it in an urban sketching kit. The pigment number for this one is PY150 plus PR102, which means this has, as the name suggests, nickel in it, which I'm not happy about. Whenever I got this set, I didn't really know about toxic paints, and because this has nickel, I'm not so happy about it. I mean, if you don't drink your paint water or don't toss it out after you have painted plein air, it's going to be fine. But still, if I can choose my paints from now on, I will try to choose things that won't have even mildly toxic things in it, because why? If you can do it without it, why? Although some of my favorite colors will contain nickel in this setup, so we'll see. So Nickel Azo Gold is really truly a gold color in the mesh tone, a brownish yellowish gold color, but if you use it with more water, it becomes almost a lemon yellowy color, so it's pretty versatile. However, I made a big mistake. I saw a bunch of people recommend the Daniel Smith Quinacridone Gold. Let's call it Queen Gold. But I didn't realize that those videos and those pictures were from a few years ago when this paint was still a one pigment paint, and it has a slightly different color. But with this new formulation, as you can see, it's essentially the same as Nickel Gold by Roman Szmal. And I will bring it closer to the camera so you can see, but these colors are essentially the same. They have the same PY150 as their base, and then a little bit of difference, but they are interchangeable. If I would have to choose between the two, I would use the Daniel Smith only because I have more of it, because I purchased a tube of it, so I would want to use the thing that I have more of and not just hoard the colors. And also this one is rewetting a bit easier, so if I have to choose between these two colors, I'm going to put Queen Gold by Daniel Smith into my palette. The next color also came from the Roman Szmal mini urban sketching kit, and it's Aquarius Orange. This one doesn't have a pigment information, and that's not a good sign if you want to know your light fastness ratings. I don't sell my work, so I care about light fastness, but not that much. But I just don't really use this color. I mostly do landscapes. I don't think I will include it in my set right now. Then we have Roman Szmal Queen Red, which is, although called a red, it's more of a pink magenta type of a color. And it's so beautiful. It rewets amazingly, it flows really well, and you can just do so much with this. Also, this is the only cool toned red I have in my collection, so I feel like I should have this in my set. So far I didn't really reach for it for my landscapes, but maybe if I do more sunset type things, it could be useful, or even for white flowers. The next color is from Daniel Smith, and I am in love with this color. This is Transparent Red Oxide. The Daniel Smith colors are rewetting so easily, and just the color of this, oh my god, look at this, guys. This is a granulating color, and it is just such a perfect color. I don't have a normal burnt sienna in my set right now, and also this brownish, orangish, reddish color is just so useful in landscapes, and I love granulation, so this color is definitely staying in my set. And by the way, the pigments for the Queen Red by Roman Szmal were PV19, and for the Daniel Smith Transparent Red Oxide is PR101. Next we have the Roman Szmal Burnt Sienna Brownish, which is my burnt umber type of a color. Let's wet the paper a little bit more before I go in. This one doesn't re-wet as easily as some of the other Roman Szmal colors. But the color itself is gorgeous, and I definitely want to have it in my set. I'm going to bring everything close up a little bit. The pigment number for this one is PBR7. And as you can see, transparent red oxide looks more like a burnt sienna in this case, and this burnt sienna brownish looks like a burnt umber. Actually, let's add a little bit more color to this so you can see it better. Yeah, now you can see it a bit more easy. And now we are going to do some jumping around because I forgot about one of my brown colors when I did the chart, and I had to add it last minute. And this is Rosa Gallery Royal Brown. And no, I didn't use up all of this paint. I will show you what I did with it in a sec. But originally I got this to be my burnt sienna type color. This is also granulating brown. And again, granulation is something I truly enjoy, so I just had to pick it up. So these Rosa colored colors are coming in these full pans, but they say they are a half pan. So my guess was that they have a half pan's amount of paint in them, just in a full pan size, so you can reach into them easier with your brushes. So I got some extra half pans and tried to scoop out my royal brown color into a half pan. And let's just say it was a stupid idea, but I think it was worth it because this pan takes up twice the amount of space than a half pan, but I wasn't able to bring every drop of the paint over to the half pan, so now I have two pans I have to carry. It's a really nice reddish brown color. The pigment number is PBR25, and I think it's different enough from these two colors that it might have a space in my kit because I'm doing landscapes so much, and because I don't have a true warm red in my collection. This is the best way maybe to make a warmer brown. I mean, I could just use Queen Red. So maybe if I mix transparent red oxide with Queen Red, that could make something similar to this. So this royal brown is going to the maybe pile, and the Queen Red is going to the yes pile. Next up, my favorite thing ever, which is Roman Szmal French Ultramarine. And this is the color that makes me really sad that they don't sell tubes of their paints. And also there is only one shop in the whole of Canada that sells Roman Szmal, which is Quartzmans in Toronto. And I just moved away from Toronto, so if I run out, it will be a headache to get a replacement. But this is such a gorgeous color. So let me just put down some water. And then this gorgeous color. This is a heavily granulating blue. And it just creates the most amazing greens if you mix it with your yellows. And whenever you are doing a landscape, these kind of granulating blues and greens help you so much to create texture for the grass. So it is just gorgeous. And I also love to use it for the skies. I know some people think that French ultramarine is too much for skies, but I don't feel like it. Maybe I just like my skies to pop, but this is a definite yes because I love this paint. And here is a close-up of it. The next color is another Roman Szmal, which is not my fave. This also came from the mini urban sketching kit, and this is the only color from that kit that I truly don't like. And this is Cobalt Sea Blue. And first of all, this is a cobalt color, so not the safest to use again. So yes, this is the perfect color for sea and such, as the name suggests. But I live in Canada. Most of the time, I don't want to use this color for water. This would be something if I move back to Europe and go home and do my yearly Italian getaways. Sure thing, I could use this color a lot. But right now, in the Canadian prairies, or soon enough the Canadian Rockies, I don't feel like this is a color I will use a lot. But it's granulating, which I love, so maybe for mixing. But yeah, I'm not. I think this is going to the maybe pile. Next up, a Roman Szmal color I purchased after my set when we were still living in Toronto, and this is Ocean Blue. This is a very well-known color for a reason, which you will see in a sec. Look at this color. This is a heavily granulating color as well. And if I have to choose between the previous Cobalt Blue or this one, I'm going to choose this one time and time again, because this color I can use for like mountain lakes and I can use for the sea as well. And just look at the difference. I think this color is way more interesting than this one. And sure thing, if you already have your Cobalt Sea Blue, you most likely can mix something really similar to Ocean Blue, but I don't want to. I want to use this one. So Ocean Blue is going to my yes pile. And so far we have 6 colors in our yes pile. So we have 6 other spots to fill. But let's go to the next color, which is my favorite blue on earth. And it is Prussian Blue. This is by Daniel Smith, and this is also a tube color. Like, I purchased the tube of it and then I put it into half pump. And as you can see, he didn't really like it. It's cracking up like crazy, and I'm not happy about how this behaves. Yes, maybe I could purchase some gum arabic and just add it to the paint, but I'm doing a 6-month long road trip. I can't purchase like a bottle of gum arabic just to use a few drops to keep this paint alive. I mean, I can, I just don't want to, and I will not because I don't have the space for it. And I can just hope that this color will not pop out of the half pan, because this Prussian Blue is just gorgeous. Prussian Blue is my favorite type of blue. I just love the undertone of it. I love the shade. I love everything about it, honestly. And this is definitely a yes for my palette, so I'm going to put it there. So in this case, I would have French Ultramarine in my palette, Ocean Blue and Prussian Blue, which would mean I have 2 one pigment only blues and 1 mixed, like convenience blue, and I can live with that. But this would also mean there are no true cool blues in my palette, because I believe both French Ultramarine and Prussian Blue count as warm blues. But Ocean Blue could take that cool blue place, I guess. It is just not a one pigment blue. Okay, let's talk about another amazing Roman Szmal color, which is Autumn Green, a very well-known color, another convenience color, but truly the most amazing green. This is also a heavily granulating color, so let me put some water on the paper first, so you can see the full power of this amazing paint. And there we go. This is an absolutely yes for my palette, because again, for landscapes, this is a truly amazing green. Because yes, I can just mix amazing greens with my blues. I can do that. But this heavily granulating green, it makes life easier because it creates texture on my landscapes, like in my landscape paintings. And also it has undertones that are really interesting. It also has nickel in it. This is why I mentioned that. Although I didn't want to have nickel in my paints, it turns out many of them have, because the pigment numbers are PG26, PY150, and PR122. Truly, truly amazing. And if we are talking about amazing greens, let me show you my other amazing green, which is Daniel Smith Undersea Green. It's another very well-known Daniel Smith color. And again, it's not behaving nicely in my half pan. I'm not happy about this, especially because I use my paint. Not every day, but like every 2 days, every 4 days. So it is revetted so many times. Anyways, Undersea Green is another granulating, interesting green. This is more of a darker version of Autumn Green in a way, because it also has PY150, aka nickel, in it. But these 2 greens are so different from each other that I think they are worth to have in the same palette. and I just love them, so I can. So the good thing about these convenient greens are, first of all, gorgeous. Second of all, if you are on site doing some plein air painting, you can just use them in a pinch and create a bunch of texture with their granulation. And also, you can still mix and match them. Of course, because they have several pigments in them, mixing can be a little bit more, how can I say, adventurous. But still, if I'm using French Ultramarine in my sky, I can just add a little bit to my Undersea green, so my painting is still cohesive. And now we are going to talk about two very similar paints, and I'm so mad at myself because the Roman Szmal Shadow Violet color was in the original set, the original mini urban sketching set I got. And it's a gorgeous color. So I'm not mad about that. Oops, we got some green into that. That's on me. Let's get rid of that. Okay, take two with Shadow Violet. Let's avoid the green this time. Shadow Violet is also a convenience color which has several pigments in it. And it is PG50, PB29 and PV19, and it's a really interesting granulating color. This is something you can use instead of Payne's Grey or something similar. However, when I was getting my Daniel Smith colors, I was trying to pick up Daniel Smith colors that I heard a lot about and they're famous. So, you know, I can check out the most famous colors first and see if I like the brand. And I picked up Moonglow, which is one of my favorite paints. But the problem with it is, it's way too similar to Shadow Violet. So having both of them in my palette feels repetitive at best. And maybe right now you are saying, but Fanny, Shadow Violet looks way more blue and Moonglow looks way more purple-ish, grey-ish in this swatch. But in real life, they are the same. Like whenever I'm using them, they look really similar. And I also think I kind of messed up my Shadow Violet because the Undersea green got into it. Let's put on some more so you can see it better. I mean, Shadow Violet also has some like greenish tint to it in some lights, so maybe I'm just seeing that. Although they look kind of different in these swatches, in real life, you either use Shadow Violet or you use Moonglow. I don't think there is a painting where you would need both of them. And I think this is kind of a preference. Like you either prefer Shadow Violet or you either prefer Moonglow. And I'm going to choose Moonglow every single day of the week. So this is definitely going into my watercolor set. And we have one last color, which is Roman Szmal Lavender. This is also a color I purchased after my set because I felt like I needed a lavender color. This is way more opaque than the other Roman Szmal colors we talked about today because it has white in it. I can use it in the sky, I can use it in the water. I can use it as a mixing color. So this is definitely going into my set. Okay, so let's talk about the colors because we have everything swatched. Almost all of them are dry. Let's see. Nickel Gold is not going into my set only because I have more of Daniel Smith's Queen Gold. So I would rather use that one, and also the Queen Gold rewets way easier, and I think that's a useful thing if I am on site and trying to paint fast. I am so clumsy today. I normally swatch better. I don't have splotches of one color going into the other, but filming and talking, I don't know. Maybe I don't have the brain capacity to do both of those things. So yeah, Nickel Azure Gold is not going into my set. Queen Gold is going into my set. Then we have Roman Szmal, Aquarius. Anyway, the orange color. I can say it. No, I don't think I want to put this into it. I never used it before. I never feel like I need it. And if I really want to use an orange, I can just mix green gold with transparent red oxide and I will get an orangey color. That's good enough. Roman Szmal Queen Red is definitely coming with me simply because I need a red in my set. And the magenta color is always useful, and I don't know how I did this swatch because it lost all of its color. That's on me. I overworked it. So let's put more color on it, just so we have something to see. So this color is definitely coming with me. It rewets way easier than the Nickel Azure Gold by Roman Szmal, so I think the formulation is truly amazing. Then we have transparent red oxide, which I'm so excited to use. This is a pretty new purchase. I got it last week and I only used it once or twice, but this is something I know I will use a lot for like brickwork or maybe roofing or for landscapes or for just mixing. So this is definitely going into my set. Then we have Roman Szmal Burnt Sienna Brownish, which I also overworked. Again, talking and swatching is harder than it looks. So let's add more color into this so you can see it better. This is also going into my palette because this is my burnt umber type of a shade, and for landscapes or for even urban sketching, this is an amazing pick. So next up we have French Ultramarine by Roman Szmal, my pride and joy. So this is coming with me everywhere, and if they ever launch tubes of paint, I will buy the biggest French Ultramarine from them. The granulation is just outstanding. Cobalt Sea Blue. You know what? I'm going to Marie Kondo this and it doesn't spark joy, so this is not going into my set. And I feel good about that. So we have 5 paints right now. Next up we have Ocean Blue by Roman Szmal. Where is it? This is it. This is a yes. Love the granulation. I think it's going to be more useful to me than Cobalt Sea Blue. We have Prussian Blue, my ultimate favorite blue. It just has to come. This is by Danielle Smith again. Then we have Roman Szmal Autumn Green, which is a love, love, love. And Danielle Smith Undersea Green, another love, love, love. It's so funny that these two colors are from 2 different brands, but still I feel like they are sisters. Mostly because both of them have PY 150 in them, so they harmonize quite well. Then we have Shadow Violet and Moonglow, and now that they are dry, I can actually show you the difference. This is Shadow Violet and this is Moonglow. And Shadow Violet is way more rich. It has more pink in the undertone, it's darker, it has amazing granulation. But Moonglow is more grey. Honestly, I'm actually thinking having both of them in my palette right now, because when I first got Moonglow and swatched them out, they looked identical. Now I see more of a difference. Moonglow is definitely coming with me. Let's see if I have space for Shadow Violet. So, Moonglow is coming for sure. And we have Lavender by Roman Szmal coming with me. This is truly a convenience color. Like everything else, you can say like, hey, you can use it for mixing even though it's not a single pigment paint. Lavender is truly a convenience color for me because I just love the look of it. So I'm going to have it with me, and then that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 paints. So I have one more spot, which I could give to Rosa Gallery Royal Brown or Roman Szmal Shadow Violet. Really similar to something else already in the palette. So for example, Shadow Violet, really similar to Moonglow, and I think if I mix Prussian Blue and Moonglow, I can get something similar. But I love this color, like maybe even for skies or like mountains. like the Rockies. This could be an interesting choice, or we can use Royal Brown, but I feel like having a third brown in my set when I could just take transparent red oxide and mix it with green red. I could make something similar. It's truly too hard, I can't decide. Should we do Royal Brown or Shadow Violet? I think Shadow Violet is the better option, but please let me know in the comments because I can't decide. So we have all 12 of our colors. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and if you have any recommendations for me that maybe I need to switch out a color, maybe I need to pick up a color for my watercolor set, let me know because I'm still new to watercolor. I'm still just learning from YouTube videos and such, so I'm just guessing. But these colors truly make me happy. I feel like this will be a good set for my Canadian landscape series I'm going to paint in the upcoming months.